Honestly, to me, this quick got started over just people's misunderstandings of He was a Blood, I was a Crip. Okay, that was natural.
I'd like to dedicate this song to my fiance, NCA. Now let's get down. I continue? Yeah, he left out the G because the G ain't in you.
You said that in Compton, people get shot at for playing DJ Quick in their car sometimes.
I got shot at. We was going up Rosecrans and Central, and I was bumping this shit in my Cadillac, and we just heard pop, pop, pop. I hit the corner, we kept pushing.
What happens when a Compton Peru and a Compton Crip clash over a misunderstanding? As you can imagine, it didn't end peacefully. This was exactly the case with DJ Quick and MC8.
Honestly, to me, this quick got started over just people's misunderstandings of He was a Blood, I was a Crip. Okay, that was natural.
These two found themselves in one of the most infamous hip-hop beefs of all time. Starting in the mid-1980s, they went head-to-head, exchanging diss tracks and sparking a feud that delivered one of the most iconic lines in diss track history.
Cause the G ain't in you. And I slid the pencil across the bottom of it, and I got up and walked away from the table. I knew that was it.
I'd like to dedicate this song to my fiance, NCA. Now let's get down. I continue? Yeah, he left out the G because the G ain't in you.
This beef might not have the same mainstream recognition as the infamous Biggie and Tupac rivalry, but back then, DJ Quick and MC8's feud was the beef. Things got so heated that people were literally getting shot just for playing their music.
You said that in Compton, people get shot at for playing DJ Quick in their car sometimes.
I got shot at. We was going up Rosecrans and Central, and I was bumping this shit in my Cadillac, and we just heard pop, pop, pop. I hit the corner, we kept pushing.
So how did it all start? Let's dive in deeper. In the 1980s, hip-hop was exploding as one of the fastest growing music genres, especially with the rise of gangsta rap. New York City, the birthplace of hip-hop, dominated the scene with legendary groups like Run DMC, Beastie Boys, and iconic rappers like LL Cool J, Big Daddy Kane, Eric B, and Rakim, and more. Meanwhile, the West Coast was starting to make its mark with artists like $2 Hort, MC Hammer, Ice-T, and others. By the late 80s, the West Coast had completely taken over the hip-hop game, thanks to N.W.A, who turned gangsta rap into a global sensation. One city that stood out and became synonymous with hip-hop greatness was Compton. It's one of the most iconic cities in hip-hop history, producing some of the genre's biggest names. It's from this legendary city that DJ Quick and MC8 rose to fame in the mid-80s, only to end up locked in one of the most infamous hip-hop beefs of all time.
Why another record about Compton? Didn't like N.W.A and Ice Cube cover all that, you know? Well, sort of, kind of. You see, they was like real on the gangster tip, you know what I'm saying? We got like a real fun side to our stuff, you know what I'm saying?
The beef between DJ Quick and MC8 officially kicked off in 1987, and it's wild how it all began. At the time, both Quick and CMW, the group MC8 was part of, were making a name for themselves in the Compton mixtape scene. DJ Quick, who was homeless and hustling on the streets, was determined to get noticed. He sold mixtapes and DJ'd at parties and local clubs, all while looking for a way to break through. Quick figured that calling out a rival would get people talking, so he decided to take aim at Compton's most wanted, CMW, one of the up-and-coming rap groups in the city. On his 1987 mixtape The Red Tape, Quick dropped a line on the track Real Dough that referenced CMW.
N.W.A, I ain't getting him on my way to the top of the tree for CMW, see.
It wasn't a full-on diss, but the mention was enough to plant the seeds of what would later become a legendary rivalry. The track also made it clear that Quick was repping his affiliation with the Treetop Piru, a well-known blood set in Compton. At the time, Quick was still relatively unknown, so the diss didn't create much of a stir right away. But as his popularity grew, the Red Tape started gaining traction, and that little mention of CMW didn't go unnoticed for long. By the late 80s, Quick's grind was paying off. His mixtape caught the attention of Profile Records, who offered him a deal in 1990. Interestingly, Eazy-E also wanted to sign Quick to Ruthless Records, even offering him a $1 million advance, but it was too late. Quick had already committed to Profile. Eazy's attempt even led to a cease and desist from Profile Records. But despite the failed signing, Eazy and Quick remained on good terms. They were even photographed together multiple times, showing there was no bad blood between them. Meanwhile, MC8 and CMW were also making waves. Seeing how other Compton rappers were blowing up, 8 decided to leave behind the gang life to pursue music full-time. Their underground mixtapes were starting to get noticed, and even local DJs were impressed by their style and rhyme schemes. But as their buzz grew, so did the tension between CMW and Quick. When MC8 finally heard Quick's mention on Real Dough, he wasn't about to let it slide. On June 19, 1990, CMW dropped their debut album, It's a Compton Thing. Track 7, Duck Sick, was MC8's direct response to Quick's earlier diss. The whole first verse was aimed at Quick, with 8 telling him not to act like the hero of the Bloods by dissing Crips on record.
This CMW boy, you ain't said jack. Your senses should tell you, kick it, don't be a hero.
It was a clear warning. And from that point on, the beef was officially on. But this wasn't just about music anymore. With Quick representing the Treetop Piru and 8 repping the Tran-U Park Compton Crips, the rivalry took on a dangerous gang-related edge. The rivalry between DJ Quick and MC8 kept heating up as their careers started taking off. On January 15, 1991, DJ Quick dropped his debut album, Quick is the Name. One of the tracks, Deep, caught some attention because of its third verse. Fans speculated that Quick threw shade at MC8 and CMW, referencing their track One Time Gaffled 'Em Up, which talks about police brutality. In the verse, Quick allegedly implied that CMW acted tough until the cops showed up.
When I steal to your chin, so suckers keep walking on 'cause the popo is talking in place.
By that summer, CMW came back strong with their album Straight Checkin' M, released on July 16, 1991. The album featured the track Deaf Wish, which many believe was a direct response to Quick. The first verse contained what sounded like threats aimed at Quick, and in the second verse, 8 seemed to call out Quick by name, even referencing their earlier diss exchanges, like CMW's track Duck Sick.
Compton psycho, biting me quick, when me you get the duck sick quick.
This had fans buzzing even more, but 8 later denied that Deaf Wish had anything to do with DJ Quick. In an interview with DJ Vlad, 8 claimed the diss was all a misunderstanding, saying he didn't even know who Quick was at the time.
I had a song called Deaf Wish. In the song, it had a verse that said, biting me quick would mean you get my sucked quick. People took that to say I was dissing Quick.
Interesting.
I never knew him. It was just a phrase to me.
Yeah.
However, fans weren't convinced. 8's story didn't add up, especially since Quick's earlier disses had specifically called out CMW, not all Crip-affiliated rappers as 8 claimed. 8 even suggested that Quick dissed N.W.A, particularly Eazy-E, but that theory didn't hold water either. Quick and Eazy-E were known to be friends, with Eazy even trying to sign Quick to Ruthless Records.
He had a song on there where he was talking about shooting me and N.W.A, Eazy-E, from the top of the tree, because he was from Treetop.
All this back and forth made 8's denials hard to believe, and fans pointed out that the timeline of events didn't quite match his story, regardless of the exact starting point. By this time, the beef was undeniable. Some fans trace it back to 1987, when Quick first called out CMW on the red tape. Others think it really escalated with CMW's Duck Sick in 1990. Either way, the tension was real, and it wasn't long before Quick decided to fire back. On July 21, 1992, Quick dropped his second album, Way Too Funky. Quick didn't hold back and addressed MC8 on not one but 2 tracks. The album's title track, Way Too Funky, featured a mix of subliminal and direct shots at 8. In the second verse, Quick directly called out CMW's track Deaf Wish, and made it clear he wasn't going to let the diss slide.
Claiming I got a death wish, you should try again.
Then came the album's closing track, The Last Word, where Quick got even more personal. He shouted out his crew and supporters, but when it came time to address his beefs, Quick got ruthless. His comments about 8 were sharp, disrespectful, and left no room for misinterpretation.
And all the rappers from Compton, except one, a no-rapping monkey face, one-hit having simple-minded punk ass nigga from CMW.
Of course, MC8 wasn't going to let DJ Quick's disses slide. Later that year, on September 29, 1992, CMW dropped their album Music to Drive By, and 8 used several tracks to fire back at Quick. On Duck Sick 2, 8 went in on Quick, mocking him for making party tracks and clowning his high-pitched rapping style. Another track, Dead Men Tell No Lies, featured subliminal disses in the first 2 verses. 8 didn't name names, but the target seemed obvious. It was likely aimed at DJ Quick. By the 3rd verse, 8 got more direct, addressing Quick's earlier diss on Real Dough, where Quick had claimed he was going to shoot CMW off the top of the tree. 8 called Quick out, asking why he even bothered to diss him on the underground tape in the first place. Then came Death Wish 2, where 8 launched a full-scale lyrical attack on Quick. The Death Wish 2 music video took the beef to another level. In the video, there was a DJ Quick lookalike who appeared to be having nightmares about getting beaten and offed by CMW and 8. While all this was happening, DJ Quick was becoming more closely tied to one of the most powerful forces in hip-hop at the time, Death Row Records. Quick had a long-standing friendship with Death Row's infamous CEO, Suge Knight. Both men were from Compton and shared blood affiliations, so their connection wasn't surprising. Suge eventually brought Quick into the Death Row fold, where Quick worked on projects and was associated with the label, though he never officially released an album under the Death Row banner. Regardless, this affiliation gave Quick even more weight in the rap game, as Death Row was dominating the industry at the time. Interestingly, there was a moment of unexpected tension, or perhaps clarity, between MC8 and Suge Knight. 8's mom happened to live across the street from Suge's mother, which made for an awkward proximity given the beef between 8 and Quick. One day, while 8 was visiting his mom, Suge and his crew pulled up on him while he was driving through the neighborhood. Suge's goons approached 8's car, creating a tense moment, but Suge quickly diffused the situation. He told 8 that the beef with DJ Quick wouldn't spill over into his mother's neighborhood. Essentially, Suge was giving 8 reassurance that he didn't have to worry about any drama involving Quick or Death Row reaching his mom's doorstep.
Suge pulled up on me one day while I was, by mom's house, and he told me to pull over. He just wanted to tell me, as far as the situation that was going down with me and Quick, it wouldn't be trickled over until my mom's place of residence.
According to MC8, one of his CMW crew members, the unknown DJ, allegedly tried to work with Death Row Records, but things didn't go well. 8 claims that Suge Knight and his crew jumped him.
One of my producers was associated with Death Row, Unknown. Unknown had went over to Death Row and started trying to work with Suge. He got his whooped.
By 1994, both artists were at pivotal points in their careers. DJ Quick had scrapped an entire album he'd been working on, feeling it wasn't up to par. He started from scratch, which delayed the release of his 3rd project. Meanwhile, MC8 was riding high with the release of his debut solo album, We Come Strapped, on July 19, 1994. This album kept the beef alive with yet another installment of the Death Wish series. But Quick wasn't the type to let that slide. He decided it was time to respond, and he didn't just throw in a few subliminals. He recorded a full-length diss track aimed squarely at MC8. On October 18, 1994, Death Row Records released the There Was the Case soundtrack, and on it was Quick's explosive diss track, Dollars and Cents. Quick came out swinging in the first verse, taking shots at 8 and even referencing the track New Park Crip set that 8 was associated with. He got personal, mentioning a rumored airport confrontation between the two and calling 8 out by his real name, Aaron Tyler. Quick clowned 8 for calling himself the Compton Psycho and questioned his street credibility.
Aaron Tyler, tell me why you seem so tame when I caught you at the airport shaking like a crab. Boy, you oughta quit. Your records don't hit and don't jock your shit.
The second verse delivered more heat, but it was the 3rd verse where Quick dropped one of the most iconic lines in diss track history. Even Quick admitted in interviews that when he wrote that verse, he knew it was game over.
E-I-H-T. Now should I continue? Yeah, you left out the G cause the G ain't in you.
Cause the G ain't in you. And I slid the pencil across the bottom of it, and I got up and walked away from the table. I knew that was it.
Dollars and Cents was an instant classic, solidifying itself as one of the greatest diss tracks of all time, and proving Quick's genius when it came to battle rap. Fast forward to February 21, 1995, and Quick finally dropped his highly anticipated 3rd album, Safe Plus Sound. Released under Profile Records but executively produced by Suge Knight, the album featured Dollars and Cents, and even more tracks taking aim at MC8. On Let You Have It, Quick addressed 8 again, this time revisiting the infamous line from Real Dough off the red tape where he rapped about the top of the tree. Quick clarified that the line wasn't even a diss. It was just his way of saying he was on the rise and letting CMW know he was coming for his spot.
I said your monkey name in my underground tape, but if you beat game, we wasn't dissing, letting you know the other side was on a mission, coming up with the quickness.
This is where the beef starts to get a little tricky to follow. MC8 had repeatedly claimed, both in interviews and on wax, that DJ Quick dissed him on the track Real Dough, saying something about shooting him off the top of the tree. But the truth is, Quick never actually said that. So it's possible that 8 completely misinterpreted what Quick meant or twisted the line in his mind to mean something it didn't. Things took a darker turn just a few weeks after Quick dropped his album Safe Plus Sound. On March 13th, 1995, Death Row hosted an after-party at the El Rey Theater in Los Angeles following the Soul Train Music Awards. The event was supposed to be a celebration, but it turned violent when Kelly Jamerson, a member of the Rolling 60s Crips, showed up with some of his crew. A fight broke out between Jamerson and several Bloods, including DJ Quick. It wasn't just fists being thrown. Jamerson was beaten with chairs, bottles, and stomped on by a mob of people. Eyewitnesses later claimed that Suge Knight stood by, watching the chaos unfold, and shouted, "Y'all get that dude." Jamerson's injuries were severe, and he was rushed to Cedars-Sinai Medical Center, where he was put on life support. Tragically, he passed away the next day. By the summer of 1995, the beef between DJ Quick and MC8 wasn't showing any signs of cooling off. On August 3rd, 1995, the iconic Source Awards took place at the Paramount Theater in New York City. This night went down in history as one of hip-hop's most infamous events, primarily due to Suge Knight's speech that escalated the East Coast versus West Coast rivalry. But the night also marked a new chapter in the feud between DJ Quick and MC8. DJ Quick took the stage to perform, knowing full well that MC8 was sitting in the crowd. In one of the boldest and most disrespectful moves in rap beef history, Quick performed his diss track Dollars and Cents right in front of 8. To make matters worse, Quick added extra disses both before and after the performance.
I'd like to dedicate this song to my fiance, MC8. Now let's get down to business. Cause it seems like y'all wanna keep on trying to diss this G from the trees that been down for years. Tell me why you act so scary, giving your set a bad name with your misspelled name, E-I-H-T. Now should I continue? Yeah, he left out the G cause the G ain't in you.
MC8, despite the provocation, chose not to react. Considering he was massively outnumbered by Suge Knight's Death Row entourage, he decided to leave instead. The tension in the air was thick, and with Suge stirring the pot on stage, 8 realized that escalating the situation wasn't worth risking his life.
Did I think he was gonna pull the song? No, we all didn't. Because if you notice that the tension in the air that night, it was just
right.
I only had 9 niggas with me. There was nothing we could do.
Yeah.
So get up there, sing your song, do whatever you gonna do. But we're not dumb. There's no way we can fight 50.
I feel it.
You get me?
Fast forward to April 9th, 1996, and MC8 fired back with his second solo album, Death Threats. On this project, he continued the Death Wish series with Death Wish 4, where he aimed to respond to Quick's relentless attacks. On the second verse, 8 addressed the line from Dollars and Cents where Quick had claimed they ran into each other at an airport and that 8 was scared. 8 clapped back, calling the story fake, and giving his version of what went down during the alleged airport encounter. As time went on, the feud between DJ Quick and MC8 began to cool down. By the late 90s, the rap scene had shifted, and DJ Quick was in a different place in his career. After witnessing the tragic losses of Tupac and Biggie, Quick wanted to move away from the gangsta rap sound that had defined so much of his earlier work. He was looking for growth, maturity, and a fresh perspective in his music. On July 14th, 1998, DJ Quick dropped the first single from his upcoming album, Rhythmalism, called Use a Gangsta. This song marked a turning point. On the second verse, Quick addressed the long-standing feud with MC8, mentioning that they used to have beef. The key word there was used to. In Quick's eyes, the conflict was over. He was ready to leave it all in the past and move forward. What stood out, though, was how Quick revisited the infamous El Rey Theater incident from 1995. In the track, he referenced the tragic beating of Kelly Jamerson, the Rolling 60s Crip who died after being attacked by Suge Knight's crew and Quick's affiliates. Interestingly, Quick framed the situation as though Jamerson was connected to MC8, insinuating that the attack might have been part of the ongoing beef.
I used to have a beef with this cat named Ace, and his homies approached me at the club El Rey. What was I to do? I'm on stage and I'm doing my thing.
At the end of Use a Gangsta, Quick did something unexpected. In the outro, he dedicated the song to Tupac, Biggie, and Kelly Jamerson, giving them a respectful rest in peace. Then, he took it a step further, saying that he'd even be open to collaborating with MC8 on a track. After the release of this song, the disses between DJ Quick and MC8 stopped completely. There were no more shots fired in songs, no subliminals, and no public feuding. The two artists seemed to move on with their lives and careers. A major turning point came on July 21st, 1999, when DJ Quick and MC8 appeared together for an interview on BET. Seeing them side by side after years of back and forth was a powerful moment for fans, and a sign that the beef had been officially squashed. For many, it was a reminder of how far both artists had come since their early days in the Compton mixtape scene. Fast forward nearly 20 years later, and their reconciliation went a step further. On April 20th, 2017, DJ Quick and Problem dropped their collaborative album, Rosecrans. To the surprise of many fans, MC8 was featured on 2 tracks, Central Ave and Funny How Dude's Gonna Change Things. Hearing Quick and 8 on the same songs felt like a full circle moment for West Coast hip-hop. It was proof that time heals all wounds, and that even the most intense feuds can find resolution. And there you have it, the story of one of the longest and most infamous beefs in hip-hop history. So who do you think came out on top, DJ Quick or MC8?